Well, look, Joe Biden is often hiding. Are we going to see a debate? We know that Donald Trump has challenged him to one. Is that going to eventuate?
There is absolutely zero chance, I can tell you that tonight, zero chance that there's going to be a debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden's handlers will barely let him go to a press conference without the questions being pre-selected and hand-picked among the press corps and him there with his notes so he knows what he's saying. We saw the last time he was in a really unscripted situation that was hostile. That was that thing a few weeks ago when he had the big press conference about the Hurr Report, which said that he was, mentally incompetent. And he said, I am mentally incompetent. And then he went and he mixed up Gaza and Mexico City.
Oh, it was so bad.
Or Egypt and Mexico City.
That was right, Egypt and Mexico City. Look, you mentioned he's always got his note cards with him. The White House press secretary was very defensive when she was asked this question by a reporter about why Joe Biden needs his note cards, especially when he's visiting the southern border. Take a listen.
The president, I noticed, had note cards at the border when he was doing his briefing there. He also had note cards last Friday with the Italian prime minister. Why does the president rely so heavily on note cards?
You're upset because the president has note cards? You're asking me a question about the president having note cards? I don't think that's. Wait, I'm not speaking to you right now, James. I'm talking to your friend over here, Ed. So thank you so much. But thank you so much for interjecting.
James, very defensive. But look, I think it's a fair question. Why does the president need his note cards?
Well, and, it's really incredible, too. We've seen for years now when the pool photographers have zoomed in on a lot of those note cards, they're saying, you sit here, you do this. The person on your left is this person. The person to your right is that person. So it's really quite, basic, painful stuff here. And it really suggests that he needs so much help. And the reason why they're defensive, it's not like he's sitting there with a briefing note that has, the top line facts and figures that he can refer to. All politicians, all presidents will have that. These are really scripted, big type things for a guy. They are just praying every time he goes out in front of the press that doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see what happens on Thursday because Joe Biden is set to deliver the State of the Union address. What can we expect? Will he fall apart?
Well, no, look, I think they've managed to keep him together for things like that, but it's a high-energy, long speech, and so it's a very high-risk environment. My prediction is that he will deliver probably a pretty strong speech. I suspect that he's got, some medical help that allows him to get through this sort of event, but we'll see about that. And what he's going to do is he's going to lay out a really, I suspect, big number of attack lines on the Republicans and start to really kick off the Democrat campaign from there, which will be Friday afternoon our time, and we'll be doing a big package on it Friday night at 8.
How much of the speech do you think he'll devote to foreign policy issues such as Israel and Ukraine or other domestic issues such as the border?
I think the domestic stuff, especially the economy, is where you're going to see most of the focus. He doesn't want to talk too much about foreign policy because a lot of these things are big sores on his presidency, particularly Israel, Gaza. He wants that over because it's hurting his support with Arab American communities as well as the sort of the hard left communities in America. So he wants that over and done because that's really costing him support, and people are going to stay home on him on that. And then, Ukraine, well, that's been very contentious, and it's not always entirely popular with Republicans. The southern border is a disaster. He'll claim victory. He'll say that the Republicans have obstructed border deals and so on. But the fact is, in his first 100 days, he rescinded something like 94 executive orders that kept the border in some sort of control. So that open border, that's all on him.